everyone, welcome back to Art a la Carte. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to draw a horse from a 360 viewpoint. That means we're going to start from one side and draw it several different times. So it goes from side to 3/4 to front to side to 3/4 to back and all the way back around to the other side again. This is going to be super duper intensive, detailed on all the little features. I have a whole bunch of videos where I'm going to cover those, and I will put a link to my How to Draw a Horse playlist so that you can reference back to those for any extra helps and some more specific areas. So just to cover the tools that I'm going to be using, because I always get at least one person asking what tools I'm using just regular sketch paper, and I'm using two different pencils. I'm going to use a blue Cool Erase and a red Cool Erase just to differentiate between the two, between horses. But you could do this in just regular pencil. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the middle horse, which is just going to be my profile horse. Now again, in my profile horses, I have done tons of videos. I have several videos on how to draw horses on my channel. So I'm just going to sketch this one out really fast so you kind of see how it looks, and then I'll go back over some of the more important features. So there is my finished just quick sketch of my horse, and you'll notice that while I did this, I kept my pencil really light and moving fast. That way I could go back and correct things if the proportions were looking off. Like I lengthened the neck just a little bit, and if you keep a light hand with your lead of your pencil, it's easier to erase. So I always recommend that. So a couple of important features to pay attention to when setting up your design of your horse. I'm going to use the red pencil to kind of block this out. We're going to really be looking at these three circles. So there's a circle here for the main chest, a circle for the rump, and then a circle that overlaps slightly these two circles here. This is for the barrel, or the chest of the horse. Another thing to look for in measuring up is you should be able to put a really equal triangle around the horse. So the distance between the bottom of the legs to the top of the rump should be roughly the distance between the very end of the rump to the front of the chest. And that, of course, will come up a little bit into the neck here. But if you kind of draw a circle and you get more of a rectangle shape, then you kind of know that maybe your proportions are off just a little bit. So now let's take and turn our horse so that he is looking from behind. So we're going to come right over here. I'm going to draw our horse over on this side of the paper with his rump facing towards us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking at these three circles, and we're going to do some overlapping. And so you kind of have to imagine them as more of like a 3D effect. So as these turn, as this one comes out closer to you, it's going to overlap these ones more. These are going to kind of overlap. So I'm going to do these in with my red pencil here. So I have here, I'm going to do my rump circle here first. Right there. Then I'm going to go ahead and do my chest circle. And because I want it to be, this is facing us and the chest is going to be farther away, I'm going to overlap this. I'm going to kind of draw like a see-through horse right here. So you can see those are really overlapping, and this is going to help me to get that look that the horse's rump is really next towards me. Then there's the middle one, which is the rib cage, and I'm going to put that right between the two of them. And again, drawing really lightly. So you can see it's just a bunch of squiggly lines, but if you look carefully, you're going to see those three distinct circles right in there. So then right down the middle of the rump circle, I'm going to kind of put a little line here, kind of go with the contour a bit, and that's where my tail is going to be, but it also defines the two back legs. And so I'm going to bring in the two back legs, which are really thick with muscle and fat tissue and things like that, and then slender down as they get back into the back part of the legs. And again, the best way to learn how to do this, because I can teach you how to draw this exact horse, but, this horse is only ever going to be setting this position this one time. Horses move all the time. Look at reference photos, look at other drawings, and just draw them over and over again. I can almost guarantee you, if you've never drawn a horse with his rump towards you, the first time you draw it isn't going to be that great, and that's okay. I drew this 100 times before it started looking normal. So don't get frustrated if this does not turn out. This is not a magic spell for how to draw a horse, that you're going to just be able to learn this magic little line here, line there, line here, and be able to draw it perfectly. It takes practice. It takes time and effort and studying, and it's not something that you can just, jump in and just master in a day or 2 days or a week or a month or a year. This is something that takes a long time of investment, but really, I guarantee you, if you are willing to put in the time and effort into learning how to draw and not giving up when you don't create what you exactly want, you will be rewarded with being able to draw better. Just don't give up. It's when you give up is when you truly fail. All right, enough of that pep talk. Let's move on. Okay, so here I'm going to put in this barrel here, and I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. And actually, the barrel of the horse is actually going to protrude out maybe even a little bit more than this chest circle, depending on, the size of the horse and the type of the horse. But sometimes their barrels, the chest rib cage comes out a little bit more. So, and he's kind of a little bit turned. He's not completely, there's a little bit of an angle to him. So then I'm going to put just a little bit of the chest circle, and then I'm going to come down here. Now, here's something to think about. As things get closer to you, they're going to become larger in size. So you can see that's why this circle is much larger than, say, this circle over here. And also, as you're drawing things going farther away from you, you're going to raise it up just a little bit. So as I'm drawing these hooves coming down here, I'm not going to put them at the same level as these ones. I'm going to raise it up just a little bit because it's going to go further back on my paper, which looks like it's going back a little bit of a distance. So the knee here is going to be higher than these knees over here. Coming down here to the ankle, which is going to be higher here, and the bottom of the hoof, which is going to be here. So you'll see how these are on 2 different levels. Also, don't be afraid of overlapping things and hiding things behind here. So with your pencil, because you're going to erase your lines, draw out where that other leg would be. And if it's hidden a little bit by this other leg, that's okay. You don't have to see all 4 legs completely. All right, and then we'll go ahead and put his little head. Maybe his little head will be turning around looking at us. And again, you want to make it much smaller in comparison to what the rest of the body is, and that's going to make it look like it's farther away. It's kind of that really delicate thing. You don't want to make it too small. It looks like he has a little weaselly head, but you don't want to make it, super big. And you want it to connect into this line, so don't have it connect into the top of this rump line here. All right, and so then we can go ahead and put the tail in there. There we go. So we have a side view horse and kind of a more of a back end of a view horse. Now let's go ahead and do a 3/4. So, this one's kind of a 3/4. Is a really extreme 3/4, almost, back end. But let's go ahead and put a horse that's in between those two. So I'm going to switch back over to my blue pencil. And I'm going to go ahead and sketch down just a little bit lower because I don't have a lot of space here. So I'm going to put in my 3 circles, and I'm going to overlap them a little bit, but not as severely as I did these 3 here. Again, draw lightly, that way you can go ahead and move things around however you want. So there's my chest, my barrel, and my rump overlapped. And then go ahead and just sketch in your legs. And sometimes I will just put them in as stick figures first and then kind of flesh them out as I go. Now, if while you're drawing, it's not looking right and you're like, I want to erase this and start over, don't erase right away. Keep a light hand and continue to sketch around it. I kind of envision it kind of as how a sculptor carves a statue out of, rock. You're carving this horse out of your scribbles in your paper. So it might not look right yet. Keep your hand loose and re-sketch around it until you find what you want, and then go back and erase what you need to. But sometimes erasing kind of triggers a little aggravation, and so you tend to get frustrated, then you lose your place, you lose your flow. Where if you can just keep drawing, just keep sketching until you're like, oh, see, because first I had this line here for his rump leg, and I realized I needed here. If I went and erased this, I would lose my place. Get the correct line in there first, then you can go back in, clean up the lines you don't need. And for me, it helps with trying to beat that frustration. Because all artists deal with frustration. I don't think there's an artist out there who's not taken their sketchbook and chucked it across the room. I have too. But true artists go and pick that sketchbook up and continue drawing. So again, draw through your horse, figure out where the other leg would want to be. I think this was one of the best things that I learned about in drawing, not just horses, but it really did help improve my horse drawings, is when I could move from just this position and I could create my horse in any angle. When I learned how to rotate these circles, how to overlap, oh, just the world opened up to how I could draw and create my pictures. Again, creating the line here for the back legs is lower than these to help create that distance. So if you find that your drawing is really kind of scriggly and you're not finding lines, you know, that's why I like to choose, that's why I like to use two different kinds of pencils. Is sometimes then I go back over with the one, a different color, and really define out the lines that I wanted. Instead of having to go back and erase, I can kind of just clarify with a different color. And you'll see that I'm letting these circles kind of overlap even in the actual finished drawing, where I'm having this leg line come up and overlap the barrel, and then the barrel is coming up and overlapping the chest, and then the chest is coming. So I'm allowing those things to kind of have that contour line coming in around. Same thing over here. This one is overlapping. So if I were to get in there with my color, I'd get that line in overlapping, just like so. Okay. So there's three. So we're really going to quickly go through and draw on this side the horse looking straight at us. The same method that I did on this horse I'm going to do, but I'm going to reverse it. So for this I'm going to start off with my chest of my horse. Then I'm going to put in my barrel, which is going to be a larger circle. And then the rump circle, I'm not going to see too much because the barrel is so wide on this horse that you're not really going to see the rump too much. And I'm going to try to have this horse looking straight on at me. So then right on this line here, I'm going to cut this line up for like the neck coming up, and then I'm going to put in the head of the horse here. Kind of coming down. So there's the sides of the neck coming. And then my ears right up here. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and sketch in my feet. And then have that barrel come down through here. And then the neck, because the neck is connected in here, so the base of the neck is going to be right down here. This part of the neck here is going to be down here, and the top part of the neck is also going to be obviously on top of the chest circle. So you can kind of wrap this line down just a little bit, and then kind of give a little indication of where the chest muscles are protruding out. All right, and then I'm going to see through my horse and I'm going to draw in my back legs. And again, I'm going to have the hoofs stop a little bit higher. Just like so. Now, if you are just starting off drawing a horse and this is really new to you, I want you to know this is more advanced. So if this is challenging for you, master this one first. You know, do the easier horses first. It's kind of like learning to play the piano. You don't start off with, you know, some classical piece with so many notes that the sheet music is, you know, black. You learn chopsticks and Mary Had a Little Lamb first, and then you move on to something a little bit more challenging. Not saying don't try this, but don't get frustrated. And don't think that you have to be able to create this before you can create something a little bit easier. And if this is hard to draw, you know, to take it little by little. Just learn how to draw the head. Just learn how to draw the feet. Take it by chunks. Don't try to do the whole horse at one time. So there we have our front horse. So now our last one, we're going to do a 3/4, kind of looking towards you, heading towards a sideway. So I'm going to switch here. to my red pencil, and I'm going to draw it down here a little bit. So I'm going to start out again with my chest circle, and I'm going to overlap the barrel and the rump. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw my kind of a little bit of a box shape here. Now for this horse, I'm going to have her head coming down. She's going to be eating, so I'm going to bring the neck down here and bring her head all the way down here so it looks like she's munching on something yummy. I'm going to draw the withers up here, kind of bring it down for the backbone. Then I'm going to draw a little bit of the backbone here, but you'll see I'm going to kind of come up of this, the rump. So there's that half of the rump, and then kind of coming, because it, I mean, think of it as, bum cheeks, horsey bum cheeks. So then I'm going to have the shoulder here really pronounced out here, and then the barrel really pronounced out as well. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw in the legs. And again, I like to put them in with just stick figures, and I can move them around however I need to. And go back in and kind of define out my lines, again overlapping the chest, the barrel, and the rump. And again, noting how this leg again is closer and farther down on the paper than this one here, so that's creating that gradual distancing. So this is a super fun exercise to do, to take an object, whether it's an animal or anything, and rotating it. I mean, don't cheat and go with a golf ball and rotate the golf ball. I've got 5 circles, yay! Challenge yourself. Whether I wouldn't start with horses if that's if you're a beginner artist. Start with a spoon and rotate a spoon and draw it from different angles. But here, it looks like I have this kind of cool herd of horses here, and they're all a little bit different, but then if you look, you're like, wow, there's this kind of rotating. That's kind of fun. This is a great sketchbook practice to help just really grow your strength in how to draw. Well, again, thank you for hanging out with me, and until next time, God bless you guys, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.